Have you ever wondered if your silence is actually working? Right now, in this very moment, your phone is sitting there. Dark, silent, no notifications, no messages, no answers from the person who walked away from you. And all you can think about is one thing. Was leaving them the biggest mistake of their life, or was it the best decision they ever made? You don't know. And that not knowing is eating you alive. But here is what I need you to understand. The fact that you are still sitting in silence, the fact that you haven't picked up that phone, the fact that you are still holding yourself back, that alone tells me everything about you. You are not weak. You are not forgotten. You are not losing this battle. You are winning it. You just don't feel it yet. Let me ask you something. When you last checked their social media, when you saw their name pop up somewhere, what did you feel? Did you feel like they were moving on like nothing happened? Did you feel like they forgot you overnight? Did you feel like your silence was doing absolutely nothing except destroying you slowly from the inside? Because if you felt any of that, I want you to hear this very clearly. They are feeling the exact same thing. Every single day that passes with no contact, something is happening to your avoidant ex that they will never admit to anyone, not even to themselves. The silence you think is hurting you is actually the loudest message you could ever send them. And the reason they went quiet in the first place, the reason they pulled away, the reason they disconnected, it was never because they stopped caring about you. It was because they cared so deeply that they didn't know how to handle it. And now, without you in their world every single day, something inside of them is slowly, quietly falling apart. And today, in this video, I am going to show you exactly how to recognize it. I am going to break down 8 specific signs that prove your no contact is hitting your avoidant ex harder than they will ever be able to tell you. 8 real, observable, undeniable signs that their silence toward you is actually a loud cry for what they lost. Some of these signs you have probably already seen and thought nothing of it. Some of them might be happening right now while you are watching this. And by the time I am done explaining each one, you are going to look at your no contact journey completely differently. Because everything you thought was failing is actually working. Everything you thought meant they were over you actually means they are not. And you need to know this because what you do with this information over the next few weeks can change everything. But I need you to stay until the very end of this video. And here is why. Because the final section of this video is going to give you the exact mindset shift you need to turn this no contact period into the most powerful transformation of your entire life. Not just for them, for you. This isn't about playing games. This isn't about manipulation. This is about understanding human psychology at its deepest level and using it to reclaim your power completely. So if you are ready to see the truth about what your silence is doing to your avoidant ex, if you are ready to stop feeling like you are losing and start knowing that you are winning, then keep watching. Every single sign I show you from this point forward is going to hit harder than you expect. And by the end, you are going to look at your ex, your no contact journey, and most importantly, yourself in a completely new way. Let's get into it. Before we break down the 8 signs, you need to understand something that will change the way you see everything about your avoidant ex. And I mean really understand it, not just know it intellectually. Because if you don't understand the psychology behind how your ex thinks and feels, then even when you see the signs I'm about to show you, you still won't fully believe what they mean. Here is the fundamental truth that most people never get. Your avoidant ex did not leave you because they stopped loving you. They left you because they never learned how to stay. Read that again. Let it sink in all the way. When you were in that relationship, when things got deep, when the connection felt real, when you started needing them in ways that felt natural and healthy to you, something inside of them triggered. And I don't mean triggered in the way people use that word loosely today. I mean something deep in their psychology fired off like an alarm system that told them they were in danger. Not physical danger, emotional danger. The danger of being truly seen, truly known, truly depended on. And the way your avoidant ex responded to that danger was the same way they have responded to it their entire life. They ran. This is not about you. This has never been about you. When your avoidant ex walked away, they weren't saying that you weren't good enough for them. They were saying that they didn't know how to be enough for you. There is a massive difference between those two things. And once you truly grasp it, everything shifts. Think about what it means to be an avoidant person in a relationship. It means that somewhere in their childhood, somewhere in their development, they learned that getting close to people was unsafe. Maybe their emotions were dismissed too often. Maybe they were told to stop crying, to toughen up, to not need anyone. Maybe they watched their parents stay together without real connection and decided they never wanted that kind of empty intimacy. Whatever the specific wound was, the core message they absorbed was the same. Vulnerability is weakness. Needing someone is dangerous. If you let people all the way in, they will eventually leave or hurt you. So the safest thing to do is to never let anyone get too close. And here's what you need to understand about that belief. It doesn't just disappear when they meet someone they actually connect with. In fact, the deeper the connection, the stronger the fear. You weren't just their partner, you represented everything they were taught to fear. And the closer you got, the louder that fear screamed at them to run before it was too late. So when they left, when they disconnected, when they acted like it didn't affect them, that wasn't real. That was survival mode. That was the only way they knew how to protect themselves from feeling something they believed they couldn't survive. And now in the silence you created with no contact, something is happening that they never prepared for. They thought leaving you would fix everything. They thought the distance would make the feelings fade. They thought they could go back to being fine on their own, like they always convinced themselves they were. But here's what they didn't account for. You were the first person in a long time who made them feel something real. And real feelings don't just disappear because you walk away from them. They go underground. They fester. They quietly eat away at the walls they built so carefully. Your ex didn't win the breakup. They escaped it. And there is a massive psychological difference between winning and escaping. Winners choose to leave because they have somewhere better to go. Escapers run because they don't know how to face what they are feeling. You need to hold on to that distinction with everything you have, because in the next sections, when I show you the 8 signs, you are going to see evidence of an escaped person who is slowly realizing that running didn't solve anything. And that realization is the most powerful thing that can happen to an avoidant personality, because it forces them to confront the wound they have been running from their entire life. This understanding is your foundation. Build on it. Because everything I'm about to show you makes so much more sense once you know that your avoidant ex isn't cold. They aren't heartless. They aren't over you. They are simply a person who was never taught that love could be safe, and now they are sitting in a silence that is slowly teaching them the opposite. Stay with me. The signs are coming, and they are going to hit harder than you think. Now that you understand why your avoidant ex operates the way they do, let's look at the first sign that proves no contact is working on them. And this one is something that happens often enough that almost everyone who has gone no contact has experienced it at least once. They blocked you. Then sometime later, they unblocked you. And when that happened, you probably felt like it meant nothing. You probably thought they just got bored, or they accidentally did it, or maybe they were testing you somehow. But here is what you need to understand about that unblocking moment. It was not an accident. It was not random. It was a psychological collapse. And it happened inside of them whether they wanted it to or not. Let me explain exactly what is happening in the mind of your avoidant ex when they block you in the first place. When your ex blocked you, they were trying to create a wall. They were trying to remove you from their daily life so they could convince themselves they were fine without you. They needed physical distance between your name and their notifications, between your face and their feeds, between your messages and their thoughts. Blocking you was their way of saying to themselves, I am done, I am over this, I can move on now. But that block was never about you. It was about them trying to control an emotion they didn't know how to handle. And that is exactly why they unblocked you eventually, because the block didn't work the way they thought it would. Think about what happens when you block someone you supposedly don't care about anymore. You remove the possibility of hearing from them. You remove the temptation to check on them. You remove the door that could open and make you feel something. And on the surface, that sounds like freedom. That sounds like peace. That sounds like exactly what an avoidant person would want. But here is what actually happens in that quiet space after the block goes into effect. The emotions don't disappear, they intensify. Without the ability to see what you're doing, without the casual scroll through your profile, without the option to reach out if they wanted to, your avoidant ex is left alone with a feeling they have been trying to outrun their entire life. And it is loud, it is real, and they have no way to silence it, so what do? They unblock you. And when they do, something incredible happens from your perspective. They didn't admit they were wrong. They didn't send you a message. They didn't reach out and say they missed you. They just unblocked you like it was nothing, like it meant nothing. And that is exactly why this sign is so powerful. The unblocking was them losing control of the situation. They couldn't take it anymore. The silence got too loud. The distance got too far. The need to know how you are doing, the need to have the option to see you if they ever got brave enough, the need to not feel like they completely severed the connection. All of that became too strong to resist. They unblocked you because their fear of losing you forever temporarily overrode their fear of connection. And that moment, that simple act of unblocking, is one of the loudest signals you can receive that the no contact is working exactly as it should. Your avoidant ex told you they were fine without you by blocking you. Then their actions told you the truth by unblocking you. When someone's words and actions don't match, always trust the actions. The block was what they wanted to believe. The unblock was what they actually felt. And right now, even if you can't see it, even if they haven't reached out, even if nothing has happened except that simple unblocking event, know this. They prove they can't actually keep you gone. They prove that your silence matters to them. They prove that without you filling their world, something is missing that they can't fill with anything else. Every day you stay in no contact is another day that same feeling builds. And eventually, the pressure will become too much for them to bear. You just have to trust the process. You just have to hold your ground. And you have to know that the block, the unblock, and everything in between is proof that you were never the problem. You were just too real for them to handle, and now they are learning that the hard way. The second sign is one that stings when you discover it, but it actually reveals something much deeper than most people realize in that moment. You probably saw it happen and immediately assumed the worst. You saw your avoidant ex go through their phone, scroll past your pictures together, and delete them. Or maybe they didn't fully delete them. Maybe they just archived them, buried them somewhere in a folder they never have to look at. And in that instant, you probably felt a wave of pain so sharp that it made you question everything. You thought, they are over me. They moved on so completely that they couldn't even stand to look at our pictures anymore. They erased me from their life like I never even existed. But I need you to throw that interpretation away completely, because that reading of the situation is wrong and believing it is only going to hurt you more than you need to be hurt right now. Here is the truth about why your avoidant ex deleted or archived your photos. They did not delete those pictures because they are over you. They deleted them because keeping them was too painful to live with. That is a completely different thing, and understanding that difference is going to change how you see every single action your ex takes from this point forward. Think about the psychology of an avoidant person when it comes to emotional content. These are people who have trained themselves their entire lives to push down what they feel, to avoid facing painful emotions directly, to pretend that if they just don't look at something long enough, it will eventually stop being real. They learned very early that emotions are inconvenient, that needing people is weak, that dealing with feelings head-on leads to more pain than it is worth. So when they looked at those photos of the two of you together, something happened that they were completely unprepared for. They felt something. And for an avoidant person, feeling something unexpectedly is like getting caught in a rainstorm without an umbrella. It is uncomfortable, it is disruptive, and their first instinct is to run inside and hide. Deleting those photos was their way of running inside. It was their attempt to make the feeling stop by removing the trigger. If they couldn't see your face, maybe the feeling would go away. If they couldn't scroll past a memory, maybe the memory wouldn't hurt so much. But here is what your avoidant ex didn't understand about themselves in that moment. You cannot delete a feeling by deleting a photo. You cannot make something stop hurting by removing the evidence of it. The emotion is already inside of them, and removing the picture does nothing except take away their ability to look at something that, on some level, they actually needed to see. Every single photo your ex deleted is proof that they could not look at your face without feeling something. Think about that for a second. If they were truly over you, if they had moved on completely, if the relationship meant nothing to them anymore, then looking at a photo would be like looking at a stranger. You see a stranger in a picture and you feel nothing. You scroll past and you move on with your day. But your ex didn't scroll past. They stopped. They felt something. And instead of sitting with that feeling, instead of facing it and working through it like a healthy person would, they panicked. They deleted. They archived. They ran. And that running is the loudest proof that you ever needed that the no contact is working exactly as it should. Your avoidant ex is sitting in a life where they erased you from their photos, but they cannot erase you from their mind. They made you disappear from their phone, but they cannot make you disappear from their thoughts. They tried to cut you out visually, but they cannot cut you out emotionally. And every day that passes in no contact, that gap between what they did and what they feel is getting wider and wider and more impossible to ignore. The photos are gone, but the feeling is still there. And eventually, they will have to face that. Eventually, they will have to look at those deleted photos in their mind and ask themselves why getting rid of the pictures never got rid of you. You are not forgotten. You are not erased. You are simply waiting in the silence they created. And the silence is doing exactly what silence is supposed to do.